Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894. I'm Darrow. I've got Joe with me here today for a Brighton preview. Let's get into it. Yeah, so like we said, we're here for the Brighton preview. Joe, what are your thoughts on it going in? Obviously, the home fans are going to be back, and everything's looking up really. What do you think is going to happen though this game?
Well, this is Pep's last chance to experiment. We think he's going to go into Everton last home game in the season. Obviously, it's where we lift the trophy, but we think he's going to go into that. Or we'd assume he is looking at the team that he's going to play in the final. We obviously know that Kevin De Bruyne and Sergio Aguero, although we only think that De Bruyne's in contention for the final. We think that they haven't played the last couple of games. They've been out. Few knocks. So this is his last chance to experiment. You could see, anything from, you could even see Zinchenko in the midfield. I won't be surprised. Could be another three, although I don't want it. It could be because, this is where Pep has his chance to try and figure out what his possible plan B is in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, like you said, last game to really experiment. So I think you'll see in the predicted 11, we've gone with a few surprises, but nothing really major. We'll actually show it up on the screen now. We have Cancelo in again because he came off against Newcastle. We have Foden in the midfield, which could be a bit of a weird one. He wants to make sure. I'm sure he'll want to make sure that Foden can be sharp in the midfield. That he's not just going into a role he's not familiar with. Sterling in as well, which is Joe made the point beforehand that he might want him to play in front of fans, which could be a show. So I hope he gets in, give him a bit of confidence if he does anything. And Joe, I'll let you talk about the hat trick here of Ferran Torres. Do you think he'll start? I know we think he'll start, but do you think Pep's going to put him in again?
I see no reason for him not to. If Aguero's not fit, I would. If Aguero's fit enough, I might start him and then, take him off. I think he deserves nothing more than a start again. He's got a hat trick. It's a great hat trick. Striker's movements. So Pep in his interview, he was saying how he could play as a striker. The only other player that I would stick in up top over Torres would be Delap. That's the only exception I'd make because I would like to see EDS. I don't think we are. It's unfortunate, but I don't think we are because I think he's going to use it for players in the squad to try and maybe push their way into Pep's thoughts for the final. So I think he'll use it for the likes of Sterling, for the likes of Torres, and Foden in the midfield. Is he good enough in there to potentially play there if needed? Rodri as well, because we're quite heavily leaning on Fernandinho starting the final, given how good just he's been in general against PSG. He was really, really good. So it's players like that. Laporte as well at the back. We think, could he possibly? But it's players like Laporte and Sterling when you think of if there's a major injury or even just like an injury in general where someone's not fully fit, those two are probably most likely to fill in them positions. Like if someone in the forward line gets injured, Sterling's the most possible to come in. Someone in that back line gets injured, one of the centre-backs gets injured, Laporte's going to come in. If a full-back gets injured, probably be Cancelo to come in. So it's positions like that where you think this is, experiment time. This is, do we have reliable backups if anything does go wrong?
Yeah, exactly, 100%. You made the point about the EDS. I think we've kind of come to terms with the fact that it's probably a bit too late for him to start bringing in EDS players when he wants the players to be throwing their name in the hat for the Champions League. It was nice to see Palmer on the bench. Would have been nice to get 15, 20 minutes out of him, but he decided against it and just used one sub. But I'm fine with EDS players not playing, I guess. But it would have been nice if we had wrapped up the league sooner. Obviously, we touched on Torres in the last segment, but Joe, here's a question for you. I said I'd put it to you. If Torres continues to perform as well as he did against Newcastle for this game and maybe Everton, we don't think he'll get a game, but if he does, would you throw him in for the final?
No, for the most part, no. I think I've said this a couple of times now to you. The only way he gets himself in the final is if he does like the impossible and scores another hat trick and then possibly even another hat trick. Like he has to keep this mental goal scoring form. Like we know how good he is and how good he can be, but are you really going to throw him in over someone like a De Bruyne, like a Foden, or a Mahrez who've been consistently performing over the last few weeks and months? Just at it constantly. They've been key to how far we've got in the Champions League. I wouldn't. I just don't think there's a space for him in the team because other players who you could take out have just done so much more often as well, more consistently. Um, so no, but he can. What he can do is make it so that he is, an impact sub. If he carries on playing like this, and Sterling keeps having these sort of average or below par to his standard, below par performances, then you're thinking off the bench, you might see Torres instead of Sterling, just due to if he keeps up his form. But that's all he can really play for. I think that's quite a lot of these players can play for. We know what we want to see in the final. I think this media talk of Pep going, he doesn't know, this will decide it. I think it's a bit of nonsense, really. I think he does know. But I think this is opportunity for, if someone has to drop out,
Yep.
put yourself in the shop window to get in. If game's not going well, put yourself in the shop window to, come on as a sub and affect the game and change the game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I wouldn't put him in either, but he has to have his name there to be even a top. But yeah, that's the top for that. What's your score prediction, Joe?
Ooh, score prediction away against Brighton. I watched Brighton West Ham, which pretty much ended West Ham's top four hopes, and Brighton, they had chances like they normally do. We always know that Brighton create chances. We know that they're underperforming heavily compared to where they probably should be, because they don't seem to take their chances a bit like us sometimes. But I don't think it's anywhere near as bad. I'm gonna say we're gonna win. I don't think we'll concede as many because I think the centre back pairing will be better. I think it will be a comfortable 2-0.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say 3-0 because I think we'll be able to score. I think Sterling will bag one as well. But they're missing Neil Maupay and they're missing someone. I think they're
Dunk.
missing one of their
Dunk suspended still.
they're missing Lewis Dunk as well, who's their captain. So I don't think that they don't have anything to play for. They're missing two big players. They probably still won't take their chances. They're, as Joe said, they already massively underperformed their expected goals as it is. I think 3-0 City, and I think it'd be fairly easy. But that is it anyway. We're looking to get to 250 before the end of the season. If you could do that, if you could help us with that, that would be unreal. Like, share, do whatever you want. There's a Discord link below. You can get your name below Joe there. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you in a bit.